THIAGO Motta'S Bologna have started to gather attention over the past 12 months. The Brazilian-born Italian taking over the Rosso-Blu back in September 2022, finishing his first season in charge with a 9th place finish, their highest finish for 25 years. This season, they've kicked on another gear, moving into the European spots, leading the league at some point, and just unfortunately going into a little bit of a bad run at the start of the new year has seen THIAGO Motta gather a little bit of attention. And so in today's video, we're going to take a look at THIAGO Motta'S Bologna, the uniqueness of some of the build-up play that they have, the principles of play, and how it looks in FM24. Roaming centre-backs, double libero at certain points in the season. Let's get into it. Okay, so to understand the THIAGO Motta kind of team, best thing to do is always look at some stats. Bologna rank second in Serie A for total passes, with second for possession. They rank first for short passes and also rank fourth for total pass accuracy. Some interesting statistics though, which we'll talk about in more detail, and the problems Rosso-Blu are currently facing against teams with low blocks. 11th in the league for XG, 19th for total number of crosses, and they rank 12th for deep completions, which is basically passes into sort of like the final 20 yards of the pitch, excluding crosses. So they're kind of struggling at times to break teams down, and I think I kind of understand why. However, they have got this uniqueness with this 2-3 build-up, where normally you would expect like the two wing-backs to push on and the two centre-halves to set play. It's often the opposite way around, where I've managed to get it with the two defenders moving in to make the three, and the two defenders, the two wider defenders, two fullbacks coming in narrow. We've got a libero involved, but sometimes we've got a double libero involved. Really exciting. Let's get into it. I'm going to show you how it looks in FM24. Okay, so THIAGO Motta's basic principles are controlling the ball, control possession, shorter passing with a heavy reliance on build-up to kind of bait teams in. What they tend to do is start with, like, as I said, this 2-3 build-up, and then leaving the rest of the players, the two wide players, the striker, the 2-8, quite high, to bait teams in, either play through or go quite direct into players like Joshua Zirkzee, who is leading the line for Bologna this season. Big emphasis on gegenpressing, getting that ball back quickly, so getting a good rest defence involved, and we're getting that with the two inverted fullbacks. The uniqueness of this 2-7-2, which came into light a few years ago when I think he was like manager of like PSG under-19s or their second team or something like that. However, if you look at it, what he was talking about, the 2-7-2, it's still here in this 4-3-3. But what he's talking about is using the goalkeeper as a key part of build-up. So the 2, it's actually horizontal. So you've got your 2, then you've got your 7 with your goalkeeper, defenders, the 2 centre-halves, the 3 midfielders and the striker. There's your 7, and then once again, your 2 wider players. So keeping 2 wide players in wider areas and then having a good spine down the middle. That is the 2-7-2. And then looking at the uniqueness of this sort of like 2-3 build-up. And here's just a little clip. Now, this has come courtesy of analysis called Gaurav on Twitter. I'll leave his link down in the description. So thank you very much for sharing this. And it just shows you what the centre-half does. In particular, this dude here, which is the left-sided centre-half, and I think he's called Calafiore. Quite a young defender, but really progressive. So this is them in build-up. So as you can see, there is your back four, the 2 centre-halves, the 2 full-backs, holding midfielder, which is Freuler, who is the former, what was he at, Nottingham Forest last season. And then as you can see, as the build-up kind of creates, the full-backs start coming in, because then he makes a move into midfield, and you see he's highlighted, and look where he's basically playing as a number 8. And we've actually got a brilliant clip of this in the match engine where he actually scores from this kind of distance. So really cool how that we've managed to do it. Once again, this is the other defender now. Ball comes in. He then moves. And he's actually ahead of, look, Freuler's coming, who's the 6. And he's actually ahead of the number 6. And you've kind of got your 2-3. Sometimes it looks like a 3-2. Sometimes it looks like a 2-3 and build up with one of the, obviously, fullbacks sitting right in, and then the centre-half joining the midfield. And at the moment, they're having so much success, Bologna, in terms of progressing the ball up the pitch. But the issue that they've kind of got is that creativity in the final third. Not so much the player, maybe the personnel to do it. They have got some players that are kind of... So at the moment, they've got Lewis Ferguson, who is one of the standout players, captain as well, the Scottish midfielder. He has tremendous physical attributes, But if we look at his underlying numbers, yes, he's great in terms of keeping the ball and playing, but those key passes, those key assists, goals, those big numbers that you want from your creative player, they don't have. And I think they're just starting to struggle to break teams down. However, if you're like a mid-table side and wanting to be a little bit tighter, doing something different, then this tactic is for you. All right? Patrons, as always, the tactic is now available for you down in the description. Go check it out, follow the link, and you can use this as a direct download of your FM24 save. If you don't want to be a Patreon like 100 and odd other people, don't worry. I'm going to go through everything right now. Player roles, player instructions, team instructions as well, so then you can copy it as you go and put it into your FM24 save yourself. Okay. So, based on the stats, based on the principles of play, we've started with a sweeper keeper on attack. Now, we've done that because of that 7-2 formation that he likes and having a key component in build-up being the goalkeeper, so it made sense for him to be high up the pitch, on attack. Attack duty, the sweeper keeper will travel some distance outside his area and be happy to move the ball out with his feet. That's exactly what we want. The two fullbacks do not often get up in build-up. If you look at average positions, they're often in and around supporting the defenders, and that's obviously because of the role of the liberos in the team and making sure that they've got a decent rest defence. So at times, when the ball is in the final third, these players here will obviously move up into attacking areas. Freuler and then maybe Calafiore will then move into these areas here, and then they'll play quite high still, almost like that, where it looks like that, and sometimes even Calafiore will join in, Freuler will join in, so they've kind of got like a 3-1-6 structure in sort of like the attacking third. To counteract that, we need the defenders to be nice and compact and narrow in terms of the fullbacks, so we've got them both on inverted wingbacks, inverted fullbacks on defence, with no additional player instructions. Now, the two centre-halves, I've tried both, and I'll show you a couple of clips right now. The first one is a screenshot of the build-up with the double libero. So this looks good when you're wanting to dominate games a little bit more and you want to be a little bit more aggressive, then the double libero does work. However, you've got a little bit more of an open 2-3 build-up. Okay, so we've got one on defend and one on support. I'll always have the best, more attacking, better ball-playing defender on support. He often goes and scores fantastic goals like this one. So this was the winning goal, opening game of the season to beat champions Napoli. As you can see, I've highlighted Calafiore just there, and we're just going to play it through. Now, the goal is an absolute belter, but if you remember that highlight clip that I showed you at the start, of how high he gets. Look where he is now. So we've still got a bit of maybe a 3 build up there. We've got the anchor Freuler sitting in, and then we've got the 2 inverted fullbacks. This is playing on the double libero, so the other centre half is there. As I said, if you want to be a little bit more secure, put him on ball playing defender on defend, and he will sit in there to make a 3. But then Calafiore carries. It's an absolute worldie, but it shows what can be done with a libero on support. So that's why you want your best ball-playing defender. I think this dude will get potentially a big move in the summer. Good physical profile. Can play as left fullback. So any teams playing with a back 3, I am thinking Xabi Alonso, if he goes to Liverpool, puts a back 3 in place, he may need a left-sided centre-half. This guy could be the one, only 21 years old as well. So libero on support for him with often Bakema. We'll go with that. I probably butchered that. I've got him as a libero on defend, but as I said, if you're a little bit worried about, the counter-attack, that gap in the middle, then I have been at times playing with that ball-playing defender on defend, and this is a little screenshot, as I said, of how we look with the build-up with that position set like that with those 2 centre-halves. Moving into the midfield, we've gone anchor for Freuler with the instruction of tackle harder, excellent ball winner. Now, I can understand why they go so good at counter-pressing with their PDA, statistics, and the reasons why, the signings that they've made over the past 12 months, or 24 months, should I say, have been really good. And Freuler is one. Like, if we look at Freuler in terms of FM, stamina great, good physical profile, 5'11", ball winner, excellent all-rounder. Similar to Morrow, 6 foot, decent vision, decent stamina as well. And at the same time, Ferguson, not amazing in terms of vision and passing, but what he does bring is a lot of energy, a lot of hard work, into that middle and midfield. So, Freuler wanting to drop in. He doesn't drop in really as a halfback because we're doing that build-up with the libero. We want that too with the defenders. Freuler often stays there as a single pivot. Morrow kind of does a little bit of a half and half. Sometimes it does look like a 4-2-3-1, and you'll often see a 4-2-3-1 in build-up. Sort of like in formation sets and what you might see on the telly. Will often go quite high. We've got him as a box-to-box midfielder. With the instruction, mark tight are very important when we're trying to achieve with the press. And then Ferguson, central midfielder on attack. Now, he does get into quite wide areas, but I just want that dynamic run. Often when Zerke drops in, he's going as the furthest man forward, so I thought central midfield on attack was perfect for him. Mark tighter and mark-specific player. We've got him marking a defensive midfielder. Okay, so really important that he goes in there and helps with the press. And then moving into the wide players, both of them are sort of like inverted wingers. They will naturally kind of cut in because we've got Salimakers on that left-hand side who is all right foot, and then we've got Orsolini on that right-hand side who is all left foot. So they will naturally come in. Now, I've not put that in the play instructions, but on both players, we've got mark-specific position again. How they build up, how they like to defend is normally with these two players going and closing down the two fullbacks. Ferguson will often come in. If there's a double pivot, Moore will often come in. Not man mark, but it does get quite tight. The idea is that there's a counter press, kind of create that a little bit more with that. We've got them two marking the fullbacks. And then Joshua Zirkzee really coming to life. He's been linked to Manchester United, and I was like, I'm not too keen. Mainly because we've got Rasmus Højlund, and I don't think we need necessarily another striker of that ilk, someone who'll want to be a player who'll want to play all the time. But Joshua Zirkzee has been really good this season, often drifting around. He's had loads of touches, really high in touches. He ranks 117th in Serie A for touches this season. But if you compare that with other strikers, for out-and-out strikers, he's had the most touches in Serie A. There's a lot of sort of like wide players, creative players, midfielders, a lot of goalkeepers and centre-halves. In terms of out-and-out number 9s, which he is, leading the line, he ranks first for touches in the Serie A. So we've put him as a deep line forward. Little screenshot of him dropping in, really comfortable on the ball. He loves to dribble, so you could click that on as well. Really creative. We've got him as an advanced. We've got him on attack, though, so he can lead the line, get in behind at times. He is obviously the leading goal scorer for Bologna this season. Now, that is all the player instructions. Moving into the team instructions, positive mentality. Attacking width, I've been changing it. Basically, they play through the middle. They play quite narrow, apart from the two wide players. Remember, we've got them on wingers, and they will naturally hold the width. Depending on who we play in, when I played against Napoli, we went quite narrow. When we've been playing the other two teams, we've just drawn against Frosinone, and then we beat... who did we beat? Empoli at home. We opened it out a little bit as the game developed, just to try and get as our noses in front later on in the game, try to push for a winner against Frosinone. So that is entirely up to you. I wouldn't go any further than that because with the counter press being a massive part of THIAGO Motta's teams, we need to make sure that if we go wide, it's going to be so wide and so open, so we're not going to be able to counter press. And with that clicked on, counter press clicked on, we're not going to be able to get a really good, sufficient and working counter press when the team is spread out. So I always, if I'm going to do a counter press, I make sure our attacking width is no further than that middle point right there. Passing to space, a little bit similar with like the De Zerbi style where they suck teams in, the defenders suck teams in, and then they'll look to hit a striker, into feet, Joshua Zirkzee, or one of the wider players they'll look at using. So we're passing to space at times so we can exploit spaces left in behind by baiting out the press. And then focus play through the middle. Remember, we've got that spine of that 7. We've got the libero. We've got Ferguson on the ball. We've obviously got Joshua Zirkzee playing out from the back to 2 centre-halves. So play out from defence, focus through the middle. Shorter passing to get those passing numbers up. I haven't tested it with that one. Shorter at the moment, he's doing a decent job in terms of possession. We had 59% of the ball against Bologna. Only 47 against Empoli, which is interesting, against the Diamond. And then we've just played Frosinone away with 64%. So I think the passing numbers in terms of getting the possession stats is good enough. By all means, you could put it onto very low to maybe kill games a little bit more. Might help with that extra little bit of play and build-up as well. And then tempo standard. I've not gone too slow because it's not slow and it's not sluggish. It's just patient. It's just patient, and they just move the ball, wait for the right opportunities to go forward. So I've left that in the middle. Working to the box should be on because of their crossing numbers. and be more expressive. He wants the players to have, even though it's kind of a little bit based on positional play, he's not bothered who goes into certain areas and who does it. He'll set a few key principles in, but he wants the players to express themselves and to move into areas themselves, rather than it being really rigid. So we've got be more expressive on. In transition, counter press, massive part. Counter attack, yes, because of Xerxes and the two wide players, really aggressive going forward. So I've put that on. Take short kicks, and I've got it distribute into that right centre half. Now, I've done it to the right centre half, so it allows the left centre half, the libero, to then progress into that sort of like defend, that middle third, that to make a double pivot with Freuler. And I've done that so it happens quicker. As soon as that ball goes into that right centre half, that number 33 should then progress into that to make that into that midfield to make that double pivot. And then out of possession, we've gone mid block. I've been changing it a little bit, but they when they press, they don't aggressively press, even though their PPDA numbers are quite high. They're ranked 18th for tackles, so when they go in, they're not going full out. I think it's been mentioned on a podcast that I listened to that they're basically trying to set themselves up to kind of be really hard to play against and no space to progress the ball through the middle of the pitch. And then what they are doing is waiting for that bad pass, waiting for a stray pass, waiting for an interception opportunity to then pounce and then play and counter and transition that way. I think they're really low from goals from transitions as well. So I think that kind of the counter press is there, not so much to create opportunities like a Ten Hag kind of wants, but to just really stop the other team from building counter attacks themselves. With that, we've got stay on feet. The idea is that we're not flying into tackles, we're not getting caught out and getting played around. We're going to keep nice and compact. Middle three will go and press and hunt down, but they will just apply pressure and will wait for that opportunity to intercept from a stray pass. And in FM, you get lots of them. All right, guys, that is the Bologna 272, if you want to call it. THIAGO Motta, I think he's destined, his contract is out at the end of the season, destined to probably move on elsewhere. There's been links to potentially AC Milan. This is the sort of stuff I want to see at Man United, where he's been really creative with build-up. You know, Man United have no real build-up patterns at the moment, and it'd be really cool to see how someone with a few more creative ideas, he basically went into Bologna and said, this is how I'm doing it. Regardless of the players that I've got available, they've gone straight in and he's managed to implement this kind of style and this build-up. I think with a little bit more quality in the final third in terms of creativity from maybe one of the midfielders, that is the next probably stage for Bologna. If he stays with these, it would be probably progressing that 8, someone potentially to play alongside a Ferguson, but need that sort of like that energy, that physicality, that Freuler, Ferguson, Morrow kind of bring. Even the wide players, Orsolini, good physical player in terms of, 6 foot, good physical numbers, good work rate. And then Salimakers on that right-hand side for Milan, now more of a left winger for Bologna. As you can see, strength, not great, but great work rate. So obviously, off the ball, a tremendous team. And putting like an advanced playmaker in there might just, at the moment, with the quality of play they've got, might just see them struggle. So that's the next evolution. Will he do it at Bologna? Will he move on? Time will tell. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on today's video. Check out the Patreon, muchly appreciated. And check out these videos that are on the channel right now. Take care.